And on this week's episode of The Splash, we have our smoke detector protectors, an excellent and extraordinary Expo, and later, some facts on vaping. The Splash is a production of Civic Center TV. We're a news magazine that covers everything from local news to feature stories, all so that we can bring you the latest from the greater West Bloomfield area. And now, let's dive into The Splash.
Hello, I'm Brooke Allen. Welcome to The Splash. Smoke detectors may be small, but they can make a big impact in a survival situation should the time come. Larry Nyland brings us the story.
As we approach the day to turn back our clocks, safety experts remind us that this is also a great day to swap out the batteries in our smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. But if you think your device may be old or not working properly, it just might be time to simply replace that detector.
Here in West Bloomfield, you wouldn't think it occurs here, but we have a real problem with the lack of working smoke detectors. We see a lot of smoke detectors that are old, and we have some older neighborhoods that were never built with them in the first place, and people haven't added them through time. Or they did a remodel and they didn't add them back in when they remodeled. So having working smoke detectors or CO detectors, having those together in your home, it's really cheap insurance. But we run about 60% of the residents we go into don't have a proper working smoke detector or CO alarm. Smoke detectors should be updated every 10 years. They only last about 10 years. When they put that new battery in and they push the button and it makes noise, they think it's working. But it might not be detecting things. So every 10 years on the smoke detectors, about every 7 years on the CO alarm.
Smoke alarms have long been a mainstay in most every home, but a surprising number of residences still do not have working carbon monoxide detectors. But the evidence is there to prove how valuable this inexpensive accessory can be to saving lives.
One big emergency that happens quite a bit here in West Bloomfield is carbon monoxide poisoning. We've had 9 families saved just in the last 12 months by CO detectors or CO alarms. So it's important for us to get that message out that no matter how new your home is or how old your home is, you could still have a carbon monoxide emergency. And you can't see, taste, or smell that gas in your home. So without one of these detectors, you could be poisoned and not even know it. If you have lower levels of CO in the home, you might feel these headaches coming on. You might feel a little sick, almost flu-like symptoms that come and go. That could be a sign of low levels of CO in your home that you wouldn't be able to pick up on or detect without one of these detectors. So you can be poisoned in 2 ways. You can be poisoned at low levels over a long period of time or high levels over a short period of time. So it's not uncommon for us to see people that report to us they have had headaches and nausea and things like that over the last several weeks before they finally call with an alarm.
Reporting for The Splash, this is Lawrence Nyland.
You can find more information on our website at civiccentertv.com/smokysmoke. Jake Kustash visited the Temple Shir Sharon to bring us this story.
I'm here at the 3rd Annual Business Expo at the Temple Shir Shalom, where businesses in our community are helping senior citizens.
This is our 3rd Annual Community Business and Senior Expo, just a way that local businesses can promote their business. And in the last couple of years, it evolved into not just a business expo, but also senior-type related businesses. And these days, it seems like our community has more and more aging citizens who need some help, or their family members who have aging parents and need help and guidance from the community of how to help their parents. Many times they want to stay in their home. Parents usually don't want to leave their home. But at some point, they might need some help. And we've got a lot of great companies here today that can help those people.
This event has taken place for 3 years now and has evolved during this time.
Well, the first year we did it, it was our first time, and we're kind of not really sure what we were doing, but it turned out to be a pretty good event. But then we decided to transition a little bit more towards some senior-type businesses.
There were many vendors at the event showcasing what their business can provide to people in our community.
What a wonderful event. Thank you to Michael for inviting us. It's local people and around Metro Detroit. It's getting together, promoting their business. Seniors, you don't have to be a senior to attend by any means, but anybody is welcome to come, and looking forward to seeing you.
One of the goals of the Expo is to allow for smaller businesses to get out there and get exposure.
These days, there's so many of these big box businesses that have been pushing out a lot of the smaller business people. And this is a way that local businesses, that's what we're really geared to try to find local businesses that are trying to get the message out to the community.
This is a great event for seniors, businesses, and also the community. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Jay Kustash.
For more, you can visit civiccentertv.com/Tempo Expo. Later in the show, the facts on vaping and an interview with Representative Brenda Carter.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
This hour of programming is brought to you in part by Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. 10 years ago, Henry Ford Health System celebrated the grand opening of its West Bloomfield Hospital. Since then, they've celebrated innovative new technologies, medical breakthroughs, and unique approaches to health and healing. To learn more about Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, visit henryford.com/West Bloomfield 10. Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital is a proud sponsor of Civic Center TV. Television that's close to home. There's Friday nights on the gridiron, then there's This Week in Laker Football. Join Dave Scott and head coach Ron Bellamy as they talk about the last week's game, preview the upcoming matchup, and talk to some of your favorite players and your favorite people from West Bloomfield High School. Airing weekdays at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Civic Center TV and on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to The Splash. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for being with us. Hey there, don't vape. Okay, cool. Andrea Petrus visited Henry Ford Hospital to learn more on the dangers of vaping.
Think vaping is safe? Think again. The Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition teamed up with the Police Department and Henry Ford West Bloomfield to host a panel discussion about the effects of vaping in our community.
Most people, particularly younger people, are very aware what these vaping devices and products are, but there's a growing concern about their abuse and potential for abuse in our community.
The guest panel, including local law enforcement and medical professionals, shared their expertise on the matter to help the community understand the health risks and legal issues surrounding vaping.
Vaping is on the rise. People need to become aware of it. It is highly addictive, whether it's nicotine or marijuana, and education is power. So the more you learn and the more you know, the better informed decisions you can make.
Our school resource officer, Detective Katie Rocher, will be on the panel discussion tonight. And again, some of this, the momentum for asking our township officials to amend our ordinance regarding vaping devices came from our school resource officer and from some of our schools because concerns about the proliferation of these kind of devices and their use in the community by minors.
Concerned parents and their children filled the hall, and the standing room only crowd came prepared with questions about the epidemic in high schools and the symptoms of abuse.
It's very hard for some parents to tell if the kids are in fact doing it because of the discrete nature of the new kind of devices, and the kids don't realize it's much more addictive, there's much more nicotine than regular cigarettes, and it's really of great concern. So I'm here to both learn about some strategies of how to deal with it with my daughter and her circle of friends, but also separate some of the rumors from the fiction and some of the facts about the devices themselves.
The West Bloomfield Police Department also came prepared with examples of the newer, more sophisticated and discreet devices parents may come across.
That's a vape pen, and it looks like a set of keys when it's close.
And I think it's a kind of an eye-opener to many people about the concerns and how potent these things, you don't really know what you're getting when you inhale one of these devices, and it's not well regulated. The FDA is starting to take more of an active role in regulating these devices and concerning about, because they're wild proliferation. Like 5 years ago, you barely heard of these things, and now you hear about them all the time.
One of my concerns is it seems like kids as young as 14 or 15 can readily get these devices. And then again, I want the whole addictive nature to be described, that if a kid just does a few hits off the highly concentrated jewel, they can essentially become addicted to nicotine or tobacco, and then that presents a whole set of other problems as well.
All of my life, we've had this issue about trying to get people to quit smoking. And though there's people that advocate that, this is a better way to smoke, if you will, or to use nicotine, it still has some downfalls to it. So that's why these presentations are important, because I think most parents, and particularly young people, will find it very informative.
Community members, if they join their local drug prevention coalition or at least sign up for emails, then they'll be aware of programs like this in the community that they can attend. Even if there isn't a program in their own community, it's likely that there's a program similar to it in a neighboring community.
Reporting for The Splash, I'm Andrea Petrus.
To learn more on this story, you can visit civiccentertv.com/vaping. And now it's time for the Civic Center TV event update, where we provide you with upcoming events going on in our community. And for a look at additional events, visit civiccentertv.com/events. Dispose of prescription drugs with Operation Medicine Cabinet happening year-round in West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, and Orchard Lake, and takes place at the police department of the three communities. Disposing of drugs is completely anonymous. Open 24/7 in West Bloomfield, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Kego Harbor, and Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Orchard Lake. For more information, visit oakgov.com or call your local police. If you are someone who enjoys songs and also stories, then you may enjoy Stories and Songs happening at the library. Every Thursday from 10 to 10:30 a.m., visit West Bloomfield Public Library for some special dual language stories and songs. Admission is free, and for additional information, go to westbloomfieldlibrary.org. Come to Henry's Market on Main. This market hosts a variety of freshly grown food, and there is free samples. Learn from expert chefs on how to prepare a meal with the ingredients grown from Henry Ford's very own greenhouse. The market open Wednesdays from 9 to 5 and is free and open to the public. For more information, go to henryford.com. Get creative at the library. Children ages 2 to 5 are invited to the Little Artist class at the West Bloomfield Public Library. Here they can use their imaginations and creative skills to make many different fun crafts, and no registration is required. The class will run every Monday from 10 to 10:30 a.m. For additional information, visit westbloomfieldlibrary.org. It's about time you benefit your beautiful baby's brain by browsing books. Books and Babies taking place at the library Fridays from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. This group introduces babies to books in an effort to stimulate and improve brain development. Along with books, there will also be puppets, rhymes, and finger plays. Go to westbloomfieldlibrary.org for more information on the event. That's it for this week's highlights. You can find even more highlights and events online at civiccentertv.com/events and see everything going on in the greater West Bloomfield area. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I'll sit down with Representative Brenda Carter of District 29.
Don't go away. You're watching The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Laker football is live every Friday this fall on Civic Center TV, WBTV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. Tune in before every game kicks off at 7 p.m. for live analysis from Dave Scott and Tyler Kieft, and then another great Laker football matchup. You can listen on Civic Center TV, WBTV, and of course on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM and on the web on lakesfm.com.
And now, back to The Splash on Civic Center TV.
Welcome back to The Splash. I'm joined this week by State Representative Brenda Carter, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, so you represent District 29.
Yes.
Tell me what that includes.
That includes the great cities of Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake Village, Auburn Hills, and Pontiac.
Okay, so this is your first term.
Absolutely.
So how's it going?
Right now, I think it's going fantastic because of the legislature itself. The 100th legislature is really trying their best to work together. I see a lot of bipartisan working together. As far as my own personal experience, I have introduced bills and passed laws that were bipartisan. So what it shows me is that we're willing to work across the aisle to get things done for the betterment of our constituents.
So tell me what is near and dear to your heart. I know you started in education, but you decided to run. And tell me why the transition.
Okay, I was feeling I was doing a good job with Pontiac School District. We dodged a bullet because we were slated to be dissolved in 2013 because of economic conditions that were not in our control. And when I started doing a deeper dive in some of the laws that governed over school districts, I realized that it was greater than just a Pontiac issue. It was greater than just an urban issue. In fact, it was the trip to the Upper Peninsula, Ispaning and Negaunee, that was the reason why I decided to run. Contrary to my belief, when I went across the bridge, I saw so much poverty. I couldn't even imagine how the children were able to go to school. A lot of their homes didn't even have insulation on it. So I'm saying, hey, this is not an urban issue. Education is not an urban issue. It's a poverty issue. And we need to supply more funding, make school funding equitable for all the children in Michigan. My personal take on this is that we are living in a global economy. And right now, the Finlands, the Koreas, the Chinas, even the Japans, which I truly love, well, their literacy rate is 98, 99%, and their children are being provided opportunities that's going to make them global leaders in 20 years. I feel we have an opportunity here, a strong opportunity to put education first. And I thought that my expertise and my background, being the president of the Pontiac School District Board of Education and the president of the Michigan Association of School Boards, which are the other 599 school districts in Michigan, I could bring my expertise to the table and join my colleagues to help make that happen.
So equitable education. Define that for me.
What it means is it's making sure that each child has what they need in order to be successful. It's not equality. It's not making sure that they're equal, but making sure that they have what they need as far as wraparound services. What I found out when I traveled around the state of Michigan is that there were needs, different needs, for every pocket. What the needs were in Pontiac were different from the needs that was in Negaunee, different from the needs in Jackson, different than the needs in Detroit. And what we wanted to do is make that education process equitable, where all children had what they needed to succeed. And that's really taking a look at overhauling the entire education system.
So you have started some grassroots task force. I can get it out. So tell me about those, because they do involve education and children.
Absolutely. Actually, the 4 task force goes from birth to death. I like to use that expression because one of the 3 committees, and if I can just go back a little bit, I was assigned to 3 committees. Education, which is my normal fit, my wheelhouse. Insurance, which I'm not quite sure how I got there. And then family, children, and seniors. That's that committee. So as I started looking at the needs of District 29, which is quite diverse, you know, Orchard Lake Village with Apple Island and the great, you know, the homes that we have out here in Orchard Lake Village, and then you go swing through Pontiac, where it's economically challenged because of the loss of the manufacturing industry in Pontiac. That played a big part in some of the economic decline in Pontiac, all the way over to Auburn Hills, where they're surging with their economic development and companies coming in like Toyota. So I said that let me just see what I can develop that can address all of these areas. The first task force that I developed was the education task force, because it was a normal fit. What we wanted to do is find a group of grassroots educators, not teachers, not elected officials, not anybody that traditionally or historically had some input into the education system, but actually going out and ask the moms, the dads,
So why is that important?
Because you need to have the voice of everyone. You know, I could sit back and say what I think education is, but if I have 4 or 5 people in a room talking to me saying, yeah, maybe let's collaborate. There's that collaboration again. Let me tell you what my experience is. Let me tell you what I'm going through over in Spring Lake, or what I'm going through over in Avondale School, or even here in West Bloomfield, at that little great school called Expo. I want to talk about that. Those kids are phenomenal. But being able to look at the situation holistically, global. That way I can take all of their input and hopefully impact some of the laws. And that was my goal. Get a global picture of what was being asked, and then take it back to a fantastic education committee. May I ask, most of the people on the education committee are educators?
Is that a surprise?
Yeah. You have teachers, school board members, you have all kinds of, even union members, but all from the education field, which is beautiful because we can impact education
from all sides.
From all sides again. So we're taking a grassroots perspective in a district that right now we have the largest group of students in Pontiac School District, we're able to take that and move those issues up. And we find that it's not so much challenged students as it is not having the resources to educate the children. You know, there's disparities in per pupil funding in the cities.
Right.
You know, some get more, some gets less. Maybe we should make that a little bit more equitable. There's that word again.
Yep, there's that word again.
The second task force is really dear to me because we're about to come up on Veterans Day. And our veterans, we should never see a veteran on a corner with a sign saying, "I'm hungry," after they sacrificed for us, for our freedom. So once I had the ability to reach out to a guy by the name of Bill Maxey, he works with veterans all over Oakland County. We developed a task force that specifically addressed the needs of our homeless veterans and our veterans who are thinking about committing suicide. We're reaching out to them and providing them counseling, food, all the things they need to kind of like stabilize them, the resources they need without going through bureaucratic levels. So that one is very important. That's been in existence for about 8 months now.
Okay, so that one is really...
I'm going to speak on the fourth one and then come back to the third one.
That's fine.
The fourth one is one that's been inspired by a guy by the name of Kenny Anderson and Jermaine Branner. They both on two different ends of the spectrum of minority health. As you may be aware, minorities have the highest, heart disease, diabetes, strokes, infant mortality, and maternal health mortality. We have the highest in all of those areas, and in my district, Pontiac School District is really up there. So I introduced a resolution, House Resolution 123, that would bring Congress in on this to ask them to look at the disparities of health-related issues. I'm pleased to say the MDHHS is aware of this. They have been attempts to mitigate this, but right now doing it on a grassroots level, Kenny Anderson is actually bringing it to the awareness of our community, which is very important because a lot of people may not know that even about diabetes and what diabetes can do to you.
How to handle it, the symptoms, everything, right?
He's doing the awareness part of it, and Jermaine Branner is doing the fitness. He has Anytime Fitness in Pontiac. And keep in mind, this is open to everyone in District 29. So if you want to learn more about health-related issues, and you don't have to be a minority, but if you want to learn more about health-related issues, this task force deals with the awareness of these diseases and how we can prevent them. So that's that beautiful one there. And the fourth one, Kimber, this is for you. It started off in the conversation in Royal Oak Genesis Church with Kimber Bishop Yankee, several legislators like Representative Jim Ellison, Representative Robert Wittenberg, Minority Leader Christine Gregg, a couple county commissioners. At the time, County Executive Dave Coulter was not.
He was the mayor, right?
He was the mayor.
He was the mayor.
But President of the Commissioners Dave Woodward was. So we all met, and from that meeting, we found out that we had silos all over Oakland County that needed assistance for our homeless, but they were not, it was so many of them, and none of them were really speaking to each other, that I asked Minority Leader Christine Gregg, could I form a task force? She said, sure. I said, Kimber, let's do this. How did I know it would explode? It just exploded. Some of the things we've done so far, Delta Dental has joined in with us to get a mobile dental unit going around the area. So instead of having families wait to see a dentist or can't afford to see a dentist, the mobile unit will go to schools. It will go to churches. It will go to apartment complexes if asked, for dental care. And then just recently, I think in the last week.
Yes, it's been the last week.
Last week, we launched a mobile shower unit. And this is for our homeless because we found that a lot of times the homeless, when they go to the shelter, there's no shower facility. So a lot of times they will go like weeks without a shower because they don't have
no access.
There's no access. So I was pleased to say that once again, the dynamic Daves, Dave Coulter and Dave were there to help kick off this mobile shower unit, right? The WAVE project in Royal Oak. And we don't want to have another person freeze to death when we have an opportunity to mitigate that.
Right, and especially as you mentioned, the weather's changing, the holidays are coming up, you know, it's just the time, it seems.
Yes.
But always to be concerned.
Yes.
Right, and to
Yes.
try to reduce that homeless population.
Absolutely.
And to help them.
Yes.
I want to turn it over to a different subject.
My bug?
Yes, your bug. I've been wondering who was behind this bug, and now I found her.
Oh.
So tell me about the Monarch butterfly.
Well, it's very near and dear to my office. City Councilwoman Karen Meebrod, the very first City Council meeting I went to in Keego Harbor, she was quick to say, well, we like you a lot, but we would love you if you help us make the monarch butterfly the state insect. It's a bug. However,
it's a beautiful bug.
It's an extremely beautiful bug with very important significance. It migrates from Canada to Mexico every year, and it feeds exclusively on milkweed. I learned all this stuff from them, but there is so much passion from my constituents in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and Keego Harbor about this insect becoming the state insect. Michigan is, here we go again. Michigan is one of 2 states that don't have a state insect.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, and you have all of these wonderful people, including almost 100 second graders at Expo Elementary School singing this great song about making the monarch butterfly the state insect. It's House Bill 4467. I know it by heart. I went over to government ops, and if you don't know anything about government ops, that's the place in the legislature where they slate your little bill to go over to fall off the cliff and die. So I went. I talked to Representative Shepherd and a couple of other legislators and asked, could we give our little bug a reprieve? And it's still in government ops. But the significance of this is that it was important to my constituents, very important, that this beautiful butterfly become the state insect. And my office is committed, whether it's in this term or whether it's in next session, that we're not going to stop till the monarch butterfly becomes the state insect.
So thank you so much. And we have a date for the fireworks next year.
Yes, Jim, if you're watching this, we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You have to see it.
Good luck to everything, everything that you stand for and everything that you fight for. So I know everyone in District 29 appreciates it.
Thank you.
And again, we appreciate you being here so much. So thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it's been a pleasure.
Okay.
And once again, we've been joined by Brenda Carter, State Representative of the 29th District. And now we hear about energy from Fresh Foods on this week's episode of The Biz.
Eating well. Exercise. What most agree are 2 huge keys to living a healthy life. While the latter takes a lot of work, the former just takes making better choices. In this edition of The Biz, we visit Metro Detroit's newest Freshie location right here in West Bloomfield, where making those better eating choices is made a whole lot easier.
I like to think that we're different because we have a wider range of dishes to offer guests: burritos, wraps, salads, bowls, raw juices that we make fresh every morning. We have smoothies. We have soups as well. We also can cater to any dietary need and or taste. I think it's difficult. Again, this is from personal experience as well as guests that we've talked to. They just get sick of what they're eating. They think that all there is salads and raw veggies and similar items. But we feel Freshie exclusively can offer a wide range of healthy items.
And already, local workers and residents are welcoming Freshie to the area in search of those healthier options.
I'm on my lunch break, and instead of getting the usual burger and fries and then feel too stuffed and not energized at work afterwards, I decided to go for something a little more refreshing. I work really hard. I'm busy all the time, so it's hard to, eat healthy. So places like this make it much easier.
West Bloomfield is a township full of hard-working individuals, and added to that list is Freshie Manager of Operations Daniel Dietrich, who served 2 tours of duty for the Army in Afghanistan.
I just think, the adversities that I faced in the Army, as well as, the self-development that I went through. It just made me who I am today, and I think, you know, running this store and the management aspect, especially the personnel, it just kind of comes natural to me.
And it's Daniel's belief that a healthy eating regimen would even further enhance our military.
What I think it would do is, we're actually evaluated on a thing called the Army Physical Fitness Test, and I think it would dramatically raise the standards of our physical fitness in the armed forces.
For Civic Center TV, I'm Lawrence Nyland.
For more episodes of The Biz, visit civiccentertv.com/thebiz. And now it's time for our final segment, Person of the Week, where we celebrate the people in the community who are inspiring and providing toward others. And this week's recipient is Jennifer Civic from West Bloomfield High School. Jennifer is the Student Activities Director and the Global Studies of Genocide teacher at West Bloomfield High School. Her role as the Director of Student Activities helps connect the students of West Bloomfield High School and bring fun, school pride to the community. Her love for student activities extends past her role as Director, as she even has a Twitter account at Mrs. Civic, where she shares behind-the-scenes photos of all the activities and fun going on at West Bloomfield High School. The passion for school spirit and education to bringing the community together is what makes her our Person of the Week. If you know someone who's making a positive difference, let us know and message us on social media and with any or all suggestions, because we want to congratulate and acknowledge those making a difference in our community. That's it for this week's show. You can watch new episodes anytime online in HD at civiccentertv.com. Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Civic Center TV on Comcast 15 and AT&T Channel 99. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Civic Center TV. And you can also listen to me weekdays from 2 to 7 p.m. on WWJ Newsradio 950. And for all our friends in Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, Hego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you for watching The Splash.